So I'm going to stop presenting. Shauki, what kind of method are you going to use for presentation? Are you
I
going to
will
just...
share my screen.
Okay, good. So Shauki, you go ahead with the question number 1. While waiting for Shauki, everybody get ready your exercise book and then you do marking if you got it wrong.
All right, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
so Bismillah on him. Very good morning to Madam Chan and all my beloved fellow friends. Right, so today I will be starting the presentation of the self-practice 6.2b, question 1, A, B, and C. So the question asks to determine the amplitude and the period of the following trigonometric functions. All right. So before we go into the question, let us revise a bit about the general formula of the function, trigonometric function. So A represents as the amplitude for the trigonometric function of sine and cosine. A represents the amplitude of the function. Then B will help to find the period of sine and cosine of the function, which is for sine is 360 degree over B. So I've highlighted here, and then these are the questions. Okay, A, B, and C. So today I will be presenting A, B, and C, and we have to find the amplitude and the period of each of the functions. All right. So for question A, so they ask us to determine the amplitude and the period for the function y is equals to 4 sine x. All right, so I've highlighted the amplitude as the green color as A. So that's why, and then when sine x is actually there is a number in front here which is 1. So that's why it's actually y equals to 4 sine 1x, but then we don't actually write this one. So it's actually amplitude of the function A is actually just you just substitute in just from the formula, not much calculation. So it will be 4, and then whereas the period will be using the formula 360 degree divided by B, which is 1, then you get 360. So the answer is 4 and 360. That's for A. And then for B, so the function is y is equals to 3 sine 2x. So again, just by following the formula, A sine bx plus c, but then we don't have c, so we just represent the amplitude as 3. So the amplitude from the formula, from the function, I would say it is 3. And then the period, we substitute into the formula 360 degree, and B is 2. So 360 divided by 2 is 180. So the answer is 3 and 180. Whereas the final one, the final questions, even though they give C, but then the question only wants amplitude and period. So that's why you just the same process again. Amplitude is 2, and then the period is 360 divided by B. So 360 divided by 3 is 120, and that is all for the question 1 ABC. So is there any question?
No.
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 All right.
Yes,
Moving on.
okay. Yes, okay.
Yes, you have. Okay, yes, and I. What do you have?
Uh, the value of C can have ada value of C.
Yes.
Why does value of C does not affect the value of amplitude?
Uh, I
Kan
mean,
ada negative 4. Uh,
yes.
ye, uh, tak affect the value of amplitude kah?
No, because the amplitude rate, I don't have a graph here lah. But then if you look from your textbook, the amplitude is like the difference between from the maximum and the minimum point. So, the maximum and minimum point changes, but then the distance between the 2 points does not change. You understand what I mean, kah, Senai? Yep. Can I draw, kah? Oops, this is not like this. Wait, I cannot draw. Oh no, sorry ya.
Oh yes, can Shoki can.
Understand kah? It's like
Yes,
this
yes.
thing. Tapi the amplitude is this thing. Hold on a second. Is this thing. But then when the value of C changes, only the graph only move upwards or maybe downwards lah, depending. But then the distance still remain the same. The amplitude is still the same.
Okay, thank you, Shoki. Sorry.
Right? No problem.
Thanks a lot, Shauki. Is there any other question from you all? No.
No.
Here.
Nice one, Shauki. And then
Alright.
nice presentation. Okay, regarding so nice question just now, why the C doesn't affect the amplitude? The C will not affect the amplitude, but it will affect the maximum and also minimum value. Okay, you got to remember that the amplitude is the same, but then when you have a different in the C, it will affect the maximum and also the minimum value. Okay, so we go ahead with the second person, Anissa.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep,
Hold on.
go ahead, Anissa.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to present self-practice 6.2b, question number 2. Okay, question number 2. The diagram on the right shows the graph of the function y equals cos x for x greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 360 degrees. Sketch each of the following trigonometric functions on the same axis. Okay, so for number 2a, y equals 1 over 2 cos x. Okay, so in this question, here we can see that the value of a changes. And so when it does, when the value of a changes, that means the maximum and minimum value changes. And also the amplitude of the function equals a. So in this question, the value of a, which is 1, it changes to 1 over 2. Okay, so this is the original y equals cos x graph, and when the value of a changes, the maximum point will become 1 over 2 and the minimum point will become negative 1 over 2. So this is the graph that I've drawn, and this is the answer for question number 1. Any question?
No
No.
question. No.
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 Then let's move on to the second question. B, y equals cos x over 2. So in this question, the value of b changes instead. So when it does, the period of the function changes. So when the value of b decreases, the graph will expand horizontally. So in this question, we can see that the value of b, which was originally 1, it will become 1 over 2. And since the period of function is calculated by using 360 degrees divided by b, you can just divide 360 with 1 over 2, and we will get 720 degrees. So that means the graph will extend to 720 degrees on the x-axis. So this is the original graph. It will become like this. It will extend to 720 degrees. But however, from the question, we are only required to sketch the graph up until 360 degrees only. So we just have to cut it and we will get this. So this is the answer for number 2b. Understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, the third question. Y equals cos x minus 2. Now here, the value of c changes instead. So, and we know that when the value of c changes, the position of the graph changes. So when c is less than 0, the graph moves c units vertically down the x-axis. So in this question, because the c becomes negative 2, that means the graph will move 2 units vertically down the x-axis. So original graph. And after it moves 2 units vertically down, it will look like this. So the maximum value, which was 1 originally, will become negative 1, and the minimum value, which was negative 1, will become negative 3. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Nice one, Anissa. Very good. Do you have any question, class?
No.
Yeah.
The explanation is very clear. Okay. I made mistake on my bed just now. I should continue with question number 1, D, E, F, but then I jumped to question number 2. Okay. Now we carry on with question number 1, D, E, F. So that will be Adelina.
Okay, madam.
Yep.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to present self-practice 6.2b. Determine the amplitude and the period of each of the following trigonometric functions. I'm going to do question D, E, and F. So, in general, y equals to a cos bx plus c, where a is the amplitude, b is the period, and c determines the position of the graph. And to find the period of sine and cosine functions, the formula is 360 degrees divided by 4. So now I'm going to question D. Based on the general formula, we know that amplitude is 1 and period is 360 degrees divided by 4, which is 90 degrees. For E, y equals to 4 cos 2x. So amplitude is 4 and the period is 360 degrees divided by 2, which is 180 degrees. Lastly, for question F, y equals to 3 cos 3x plus 1, where plus 1 is c, but it doesn't affect the amplitude and period, as it just shows that the graph shifts upwards by 1 unit. So like the other question, the amplitude is 3 and the period is 360 degrees divided by 3, which is 120 degrees. Okay, that's all from me. Any questions?
No.
No question. No questions, huh? Okay. Nice presentation to Athena. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we move on to Afifa. Afifa will present the next three.
Okay, madam, hold up.
Okay.
Ambil gambar. Katok pun boleh.
Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to be presenting and explaining self-practice 6.2b for question GHI. And so let me just carry on. So first we can see that all of these, they use the same trigonometric function, which is tan. So we refer to this general formula, which is y equals to a tan bx plus c. But first, before we solve the problem, first we need to look down here. The question asks for amplitude and period, but for tan, it's a bit special because even if we have the value of a, it does not change the amplitude because it does not even have amplitude. As we can see from the graph is undefined, so it has no amplitude. Understand?
Yes.
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 For question G, so we can just ignore the amplitude because it's all the same since it's using tan. So we're going to calculate the period. For the period, we follow this formula, which is the period of tangent function equals to 180 over b. So we have the b here, which is 3 for question G. So we just 180 divided by 3 equals to 60. So the period for question G is 60 degree. For H, we know that the B is 1 over 3. So 180 divide 1 over 3 equals to 540. And the period will be 540 degree. For question I, the B is 2. For the C, we don't need to worry so much because the question did not ask us to find out the position or anything. So we just focus on the period. So the B is 2. So simply we use the formula for finding period of function for tangent graph is 180 over 2, and we get 90 degree the period. That's all from me. Thank you. So far,
Thank you.
understand ka?
Yeah.
Understand.
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 Good one. Thank you, Afifa. Very clear. Okay, we move on to the third question now. Nasrul.
Ah,
Nasrul, you here?
yes. Yes, madam.
Okay. Yeah, good.
So today I'll be teaching you guys on self-practice 6.2b question 3. The diagram on the right shows a graph of the function y is equal to tan x for 0 degree is less than or equal to x less than or equal to 360 degree. Sketch each of the following trigonometric functions on the same axis. Okay. So we have this the normal simple graph of the tan x, and we have question A. First question, y is equal to tan to x. So to solve this question, we must find the value of A, B, and C. So we can find the value of A from the function, which is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to 0. Now from these values, we can also find the amplitude, the period, and the position of the graph. So the amplitude, since this is a tan function, so there is no amplitude, and there is no change on the curve. So if the A value is like more than 1, so there might be a change on the curve, but this one A is equal to 1. So the period is 90 degree. So how do we get the period equal to 90 degree? We use the formula of 180 over B. We just substitute the 2 to 180 over 2, so we get the 90 degree. So what does it mean by period is equal to 90 degree? It means that in the range of 90 degree, the graph will complete it full graph. It means like this. Instead this is 180, right? So the graph is full at 180. So when it's 90, the graph will full right here. Okay. Once you found all of this, now we can draw the graph like this. Any question for this? Question A.
No.
Okay.
Clear.
No, very clear.
So we got to question B. Y is equal to tan x plus 2. So same again, we find the value of A, B, C. A is equal to 1, B is 1, and C is 2. Same again, amplitude, there is no amplitude. The period is 180. 180 over 1, so equal to 180. And C is 2. So it's a positive 2, so it moves 2 units up. So this is the original graph. So it's 1, 0. So it moves 2 units. 1 and 2. So it becomes like this. So 2 units. Any question?
No.
Oh,
Okay. I think that's all for the.
Okay. Thank you, Nasrul. Nice one. Okay, so we move on to self-practice 6.2c now. So the first person to present question number 1 is Hedy.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So good morning to Madam Chan
Morning.
and my friends. Today I'm going to present question 6.2c number 1. So first of all, we have to look at the question. Okay. The graph on the right shows the depth of water recorded in a dockyard. If y represents the depth of water in feet and x represents the number of hours after midnight, use the function in the form of y equals to a cosine bx plus c to model the depth of water shown as the graph. So we have to use this graph to to solve this question. Okay, so we have to know what kind of graph we should use to solve this. We know that this, if you look here, this looks like the cosine graph, right? Like this graph here. So, in this cosine graph, uh, uh, it is from -1 to 1, and then it ends at 360 degree. For this one, it has uh, it has it end until 24. So it basically, how I understand it, this is a smiley face, one smiley face, and this has two smiley face. So, and then we know that this height is the amplitude. This here is the amplitude, where it is also equal to the difference between maximum value and minimum value divided by 2. Uh, if we look here, so 1 minus -1 divided by 2 equals to 1. But this is for the basic graph, the original cosine graph that we have to refer to. So now to have the graph, we should know the amplitude and the period. Calculate the period is equal to 360 degree over b. B here, the b. We don't know the value of b, so we have to search for it, which means that uh, we can get the shape of smiley face and it ends at 360 degree.
Hedi, cannot
Okay,
see Hedi.
so cannot see.
Yeah, the graph
Oh
is not.
really?
Oh yeah, the graph, the position.
Is it? Okay, wait. Uh, now still can see or not?
I think can, yeah.
Can. I'm at slide number 3 now.
Oh yes, can.
Yes.
Okay. 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 So to know the amplitude, if we see in this graph given, to know the amplitude, we can see that okay, this is 12, 9, 6. So the highest is 12 and the lowest is 6. If you look at the graph, from 9 to 12, the difference is 3. From 6 to 9, the difference is 3 also. So we know that the amplitude is equal to 3. See, 3, 6, 9, 12. So the amplitude is 3. And then for period, we know that to calculate period is 360 degree over b. So when 360 is equal over b is equal to period, we look at this graph. This amplitude, and from here to here is period. When we look at this graph, the period ends at 12. If we follow the cosine graph at the cosine graph, it ends at 12. One smiley face ends at 12. So the period is equal to 12, which means that we can use that to find the value of b. So since 360 degree over b is equal to 12, you move it over, so it becomes b equals to 360 over 12, which is then will be equal to 30. Okay, so we know we have the amplitude, which is equal to 3, and the period, which is equal to 30. So you can substitute it in the function y equal to 3 cosine 30x plus c. But now we have it has the in this graph we have the c. Now if we write the function in front only, if we write only y equals to 3 cosine 30x, the the line here, can you see what I'm pointing? The line here should be 0, but this function has a c. So if you look at the graph here, the c is 9. The middle line is 9. So we can conclude that c equals to 9. Thus, y equals to a cosine 30x plus 9. So that is for a. Any questions for a?
No.
No.
No question.
Okay. If you don't understand, you can just ask. Okay. So for b, okay, moving on to b. At what time will the water be the deepest? Okay. So we really have to understand the graph. Okay. So if you see the graph between 6 and 12, which one is the deepest? Of course, 12 is the deepest. Is here. This is the maximum value. Okay. So at 12, when y equals to 12, you can see here there are 3 points. Here, here, and here. There are 3 points. So when y is equal to 12, x is equal to 0, 12, and 24. So that is the time when the water will be the deepest. So this is how I did it. This is for reference. So if you all have any questions, you can ask.
Any question, class?
No, crystal clear.
I actually have a question, not on the kerja lah, but maybe on the question actually. Because
Yes.
kan, you say what time? If what time kan sepatutnya it supposed to be like the time kah? Because kan
Yeah.
the graph down there is how many hours after midnight, right?
Yes. But in the question, they didn't say what time. They didn't give in the question what time. It starts at uh at midnight. Maybe it could be 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, but they didn't state it here. So I assume they wanted the hours actually.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
There
Thank
might
you.
be, yeah, there might be I think there might be a typing error or whatever lah, because the question given with the graph given, their unit is not the same. In the graph they stated is hours, but then in the question they asked what time. So if really the question came out with what time, then we really have to calculate it, the 0, 12, and 24 hours, you have to add it on. But then I suppose the correct one supposed to be at what hour lah will the water be deepest. Okay,
All right.
Okay.
thank you, Heidi.
Okay.
Okay, we move on to the next person. Alika, are you ready? Alika, are you here? Just now she went out. Okay, it seems like she's not here, so I'll move on to the last one first. Haslin, you first, Haslin.
Okay, madam.
Okay.
I need Afifa to share the screen, madam.
Okay, Afifa, go ahead.
Explain. Good morning, madam and my friends. So before that, I'm gonna mix my language so that you guys have a better understanding. So the question is, the graph on the right depicts the water level recorded at the port. It is given that y represents the water level in meter and x represent the time in hours. State the trigonometric function of the graph in the form of y a sine bx plus c. So if you see c, that's mean ada perubahan for the graph. Okay, first we need to find the amplitude. So how do we need to find amplitude is we minus from 4, we minus with 1.8 divided by 2. Why do we need to divide by 2? It is because one complete period is 2 like mangkok like that, you know. So we divide by 2. So the answer is going to be 1.1. Is there any question? for now?
No.
Clear.
All right. So for the period, as we know, this is a sine graph. So we need to take 360 degree divide by 24. Why 24? Because one complete of the graph is ended at 24. So we divide by 24. So we get 15x. So far okay?
Yes.
So for C, like I said, akan ada perubahan at the graph. So that means before the graph jadi like that, the graph will start at 0. So after we plus the we plus 1.1, which is the amplitude, and then we plus with 1.8, and it will become 2.9. Why we plus 1.8? Because it is the new position where it's stated. So far, got question? How we can get the C? Can you understand?
No. Yes.
Understand.
Understand.
So, the trigonometric function for the graph you will form is y equal to 1.1 sine 15x plus 29. That's all. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all, madam.
Okay. Thank you, Hasli.
Welcome.
Clear presentation. Okay, move on to Erika. Is Erika here already? Still not here yet. Okay. So never mind. If that's the case, we just check the answer first and then we will let Erika present in the next lesson. Okay, so everybody you check your answer for A. Okay, when they ask you to write the function for the distance S, so the function is S equal to 500, then X. Okay, for B, state the amplitude and the period of the function. So there's no amplitude, okay, because it's a tangent graph, and then the period is equal to how much? How much?
180.
180.
Yes, 180. Okay, because of the time constraint, I'm going to give your exercise for today. Actually, I want to go through the quiz, but we don't have enough time. I'm going to go through the quiz in the next lesson, and then if the time allowed, we are going to enter new chapter. If not allowed, then I'm just going to carry on. One more thing. After this, I'm going to give you extra exercise. I'll just post it in the WhatsApp group. So you check it out, and then and then we are going to do the discussion in the next lesson.